Hey guys, I'm Griffin D, and in this video we are covering, have any of you realized that you were the crazy boy, girlfriend? Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. Got paranoid, figured out her VM passcode, listened to a voicemail of a guy telling her that he'll miss her over the weekend and loves her. I confronted her about it and she denied it. I played it for her and suddenly realized it was me from a couple years earlier. She had saved it, because it was sweet. After the 37th call, I was trashed, in my underwear, outside of her apartment, throwing rocks at the garage door, screaming at her for not being a big enough bitch, and it started, because I wanted chocolate milk, but was too drunk, lazy to walk to the store. Then it hit me. Gumby, you are a freaking lunatic. Oh gosh, I was sick and I had just met this guy through work. Being that I had just moved to a new city, I didn't have a car, so he volunteered to take me to the store and then drive me home afterwards. When he came into my apartment, I begged him to stay the night with me, claiming that I couldn't sleep alone and that I would be miserable if he left. I blame the medicine, but I was psycho. I had one moment after high school where I realized I was kind of a nutcase. I dated one guy through my junior and senior year, and for a little bit in college. We moved in together before the split, along with two of our other friends. When we broke up, we were still sharing a room. We had separate beds, but it was the most uncomfortable thing in the world. We were still sleeping together, and going out on dates, but we were also seeing other people. He started getting phone calls from this girl he met at a concert. This was before social networking was a big thing, so even though I knew her name, I couldn't really get a lot of information on her. I became slightly obsessed. I needed to know what she did, what she looked like, how serious they were. I knew he was taking her out one night and a movie they were going to. I showed up, basically stalked them all night, and then thought about following them out of the theater to see where they went. It clicked at that moment that I was being psychotic. After that I made our breakup a more real thing and moved on. Only when my ex got in touch on Facebook and reminded me of all the weird stuff I did. I'd forgotten most of it. I tried to laugh it off, but really I was thinking, shit, who else has she told about this? When I made a fake Facebook to try to flirt with my girlfriend to see if I could trust her, nothing really caused the clarity, just kind of one of those what the frick am I doing moments. After my first relationship, I got a female friend of mine to play along with the story that I had been cheating on my ex with her for the entire relationship. I am not proud. Yep, about 2 months afterwards, I was pretty clingy and would give up everything else to be with her. I dropped friends and family, total devotion to her. I was thinking about the way I had acted and was like, I can see why we are no longer together. I have changed since then. A couple of times I've gotten really attached to guys in my class at school, and after getting their numbers and finding out they didn't feel the same about me, I text them song lyrics. Not so much a crazy girlfriend, just a crazy person. This was a gazillion, 20 years ago, but it was the one time I veered off into crazy town. I was just about to break up with my college boyfriend when he beat me to the punch and broke up with me first. For some reason, even though I didn't want him anymore, the idea that he didn't want me flipped some kind of switch in me. I went into a downward spiral that involved the following utterly humiliating incidents. 1. I begged for him to take me back, even though I didn't want him. He said no, repeatedly. I cried, a lot, in front of him. 2. I went to his room using my key and crawled into his bed, his top bunk, even hotter, wearing only sexy underwear. Thank God his roommate got home first and tried to talk some sense into me. He dressed me, walked me back to my house and deposited me with my own roommate and made her promise not to let me out of her sight until I'd come to my senses. 3. I snuck away from my roommate like a ninja and went back to boyfriend's room, where I stuck all of his sappy, cheesy love letters to me from over the summer to his door with about 3 layers of clear packing tape. I have no recollection of procuring the packing tape. I was obviously in a crazy girlfriend fugue state. Also, I was stone cold sober. On the upside, all of his friends got to see what a loser he was by reading the letters. On the downside, they concluded, justifiably, that I was a crazy stalker. Strangely enough, his next girlfriend shared my not that common name. I'm sure it made him cringe every time he said it. I don't know what the hell happened to me. 20 years of perspective and I still can't figure it out. I was a totally normal human before this boyfriend, And I've been a totally normal human since. I didn't even like him that much. Maybe I had PMS? Who knows? Created a fake account on Gmail to talk to him and make him like my alter ego. Started as a joke, ended up as a way to test him. He ended up getting close to her, and said a couple of negative things to her about me. But it was just completely stupid and crazy of me to test him like that. I completely regret everything to do with that. 0 out of 10 would recommend. When he cheated on me in plain sight, and I instead blamed myself for it, and begged for his forgiveness. Talk about a lack of self-respect. I didn't realize until later, but I changed everything about myself for him. Dropped out of college, moved out of my house, took a crappy job doing the same thing he did. I basically ruined my life to be together, and the worst part was he was an asshole. After I broke up with my ex, I decided to log on to his Facebook to see what he had said about the breakup to other people. I didn't even find anything bad, but proceeded to change his password to Thisiswatayafrakingjit and then change his email account's password as well, just so it would be a little harder for him to get his Facebook back. I may have also liked all of my profile pictures, whilst on his account. Took a pair of scissors to my ex-boyfriend's peen mag collection and cut it into the smallest of small pieces. Went for car rides with his friends in the middle of the night just to make him mad. Flushed many a stash down the toilet while screaming like a banshee. Wrote in my own blood on his bathtub when I found out he had cheated on me. All in the name of insane teenage love. Now I'm in an exceptionally normal, healthy, non-jealous, happy relationship. Thank God I'm not 17 anymore. I wouldn't say crazy, I'd say lazy. I was the lazy boyfriend, which made her crazy. Slowly over time, it was like getting crushed by a glacier. After a week of tripping on mushrooms every other day or so, he tried to break up with me and I told him it wasn't in accordance with the prophecy. Well, I guess we weren't exactly dating so much as he got kicked out and needed a place to stay, so I let him sleep in my bed. I hacked into her email account to see if she was cheating on me or talking behind my back. This was a long-distance relationship, and I was having doubts. Though she was actually cheating on me, a couple months before, and she had broken up with me, because she apparently didn't have time for a relationship. I told her a couple days later I started dating a new girl, totally fake, and about a week later, she was begging for me back. I also blamed the email hacking on my fake girlfriend, and made an email account for the fake girlfriend so she, me, could talk to the real girlfriend about me. I might have been a bit crazy looking back on it. Edit. I am probably not your ex-BF, girlfriend. My name is Jordan, in case you think I'm your ex. When my ex broke up with me, I destroyed all 4 of her tires so she can't go anywhere. I came to realize that I am the crazy boyfriend, and that I'll need an equally crazy girlfriend in order to be happy. Faked a pregnancy to keep him from leaving me. Held onto his car while he was trying to drive away. Internet stalked him and his new girlfriend after breaking up. Yes, I was once the crazy you shouldn't stick your dong in. I've realized I was a pathetic ex who chased my ex for over a year after breaking up and made no attempts to get over it. Been there. As a guy, I pretty much put the rest of my life on pause just to be around her. I was very much playing the role of a lapdog, willfully. It's funny, when I look back at the situation, I realize it was because I was generally unhappy with my career. I was in a bit of a funk and I wasn't in a good headspace, so in a way her positive energy was a distraction from my own reality. But that shit catches up to you. Eventually you have to confront your own internal issues and get past them. Can't look back with regrets though. I think everything happens for a reason, and if you learn from your mistakes and can grow from them into a better person, then it was worth the experience. Pre-internet. High school sweetheart, with all the dysfunction that comes with that. We were very off and on for about 5 years. When we were off, I would drive by his work, a fast food place, to see if he was working. But the worst, we were supposed to meet at an ice cream parlor in town. I got there after him, and he was sitting at a table with a girl I knew by reputation only, and it wasn't a good one. Remember, this was 30 years ago. I've outgrown this attitude. I reversed the car and left without going in, because I was so offended that he was sitting with this girl. He called my house. I refused his calls, completely cut him off with zero explanation. Months later, back from college, I bumped into him at a party. She was there too. He said, "What happened to you?" I wanted to introduce you to my sister, the girl with the bad reputation. Yeah, I was an idiot. We kept trying for another year or so, but I could never let go of the fact that I was that stupid and judgmental. Yes, super over jealous, and I look back on it now and regret it. Without trust there is nothing in a relationship, just wish I realized it sooner. When I chased her down the street while coming on myself. When my first girlfriend abruptly dumped me, I was shattered. She did not remember that she gave me a key when I sat her dog while she was in Hawaii with her parents. So after the breakup, I slept under her bed for a whole month to see if she would bring anyone else to bed. Finally, she brought home her ex-boyfriend, and as soon as I heard their voices out, I slowly rolled out from underneath. Slowly, so as not to startle anyone, and started moaning, "This is wrong. This is wrong." The guy kicked my ass. I called the cops on him for assaulting me, and the cop arrested me for trespassing and stalking. A few days later I was waiting on her porch waiting for her to get home, and she came home again with him. I had a gun of raid with me in case he tried to attack me again, but they talked to me and told me I was being unreasonable and that she didn't want to see me anymore. She just said, "You're being crazy" 3 times in a row, and then it sunk in. I was acting a little obsessive. He wasn't actually my boyfriend. He was my best friend that I was convinced I was in love with. I was pretty pathetic. The things I said and did make me cringe now. I didn't realize how crazy I was being until I moved on and met a wonderful guy, and my former best friend suddenly decided he was in love with me, with the roles reversed. I have had so many deja vu moments when he says things that I used to say, and it does come across as crazy and pathetic. I'm glad I was able to move on and grow up. Today I learned Reddit should have an overly attached boyfriend meme. I wasn't the crazy boyfriend, but I've turned into the crazy ex. To be fair, she's not made things very easy for me. I was in a relationship for 3 years, paid for everything, rent, food, power, etc. She had a child, not mine, and I was essentially his father for those 3 years, because we were on one income. Shit was tight. I was paying off her debts so we could afford to do things together, while it felt like she didn't contribute much at all. This eventually led to our breakup. Because we didn't have much money, we couldn't do much together. I was working all day, she was incredibly bored, and when I came home I was exhausted and wanted to relax. She found her own passions, and I'm pretty sure through that she met someone new, because after 2 months of us being broken up, 3 years I remind you, she is officially in a new relationship. That shit hurts. So I've become the crazy ex. I have told her that she is on her own now. She can't afford shit. I have a lot of debt that we were paying off as a couple, and I have told her it's hers. She's gone from being on one, fairly comfortable income, to being on a benefit, car loans, bank loans, you name it. She has no credit and can't afford her style of living anymore. My words to her, too freaking bad. I'm not a bad person, but I feel awful for saying your problem now. Actually putting that down on paper doesn't make me seem so crazy at all. I didn't realize so much as I've always known I'm the crazy one. I regret nothing. I was really in love with this girl I dated for 3 years. Like, really 3. I wanted nothing with anyone else. I never showed these feelings except for maybe a few times, and was always a bit distant, because I felt like I would seem like the crazy clingy person and she would leave me. I wasn't being the knight in shining armor I wanted to be to her, because I was scared. After a while she decided I wasn't the one for her, because I was too distant after so long, and she left me. Afterwards, I started doing everything I had always wanted to do, like leaving her little notes and having flowers for her at home, and just every little thing I could do to show her that she really was my whole world, which turns out is what she wanted the whole time. But it was too late and she was no longer in love with me. So it just looked like I was the crazy guy I never wanted to be in the first place, and it drove her even further away. This was 3 weeks ago. I'm terribly depressed about it. Please subscribe if you like the video. It really helps the channel to grow. Adios.